Welcome back to Real Talk. I'm Alexandra.
And I'm Jamie. And together, we're your hosts on Real Talk Long Island.
And that's right. And I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. We hope you're enjoying this podcast. And a huge shout out to our Latino Mixx family.
Don't forget to download the Latino Mixx app so that you can see us on Latino Mixx. We are on Real Talk Long Island on Instagram and Real Talk Long Island on Facebook. And don't forget YouTube.
That's right. So welcome back once again. And April has been amazing. A lot of fun. I love April because it is my birthday month.
Oh, here we go again. Oh, my goodness. We're going to have April. Her birthday was April 4th. We're going to have that for the next 6 months. Just letting you know.
No. The month of April. Those people that celebrate all year, no, that's ridiculous. Even the month, I'm pushing it a little bit.
No, she's not. We had fun this month celebrating her birthday.
So I want to remind everyone, April 28th, I'm sure by now everyone has their ticket. April 28th is our annual Ladies Tea and Brunch. It's going to be at Fogo de Chao in Huntington Station. The information is on flutterfliesmovement.com.
Make sure you get those tickets before they sell out because it's a great event. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there this year because it's my 30th wedding anniversary. Awesome. April 30th, and we will be away. So Beautiful. I'm going to miss it this year.
Beautiful. So today we have a very... we're going to get a little intense for some people. Uh-oh. We're going to keep it real. But it's a topic that I've heard should not be spoken about if you want to keep friends, which is religion and politics. So today we're going to talk a little bit politics. We're going to keep it, I'm not going to go one party or the other. We're going to keep it very neutral. But before we invite our guests, Jamie, I know you're the one who's actually introduced me a little bit more to politics. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start the question off with, how important is it, or is it important to get involved in politics?
It's absolutely important to get involved in politics. And more important is to get involved in government, but government doesn't happen without politics. So if you don't get involved and your candidate doesn't win, they're not going to be part of the government. So when it happens later on and you're going, oh, well, I don't like what this person is doing. Well, shame on you. You should have been out there helping with the politics part of it so that they could be in government. So you have to kind of remember that without the politics, there is no government. And it's so important to register to vote. That's really important.
So if someone, and let me just, for the record, we're not promoting one party over the other. Anyone that might be considering running this year or next year, they're welcome to come and, we can have a discussion. So I just want to throw out there because I don't want any comments.
We're not promoting one party over the other. However, I'm going to tell you that you need to research the parties and see who actually represents your values. Not what they say over here, what they're doing over here. So I'm not going to say which party I feel, but most of you out there know who I feel that represents my values. And I believe in freedom, faith, and family. So the party that actually represents my values is the party that, I do support. But so you need to, when you're looking at that, again, everyone doesn't want to talk about, parties and all that. I get that. But I feel the party that I'm registered in, the Republican Party, represents my family, my faith, and it represents preserving freedom.
I think you have to talk about parties. I'm just saying that I'm not picking one over the other on this podcast.
Right, okay.
What I choose to do is nobody's business. Who I vote for is nobody's business. I may be a little bit vocal at times about what I'm doing and not doing, but I'm just saying here. Yeah. But yes, you do have to pick a party. You have to support.
Well, you don't have to pick a party.
Well, you don't. But
you can be undeclared.
You can. However, I have a question for our viewers, and please be, comments. So I know a lot of people that are either a Republican, Democrat, whatever they are, they vote across the board.
Uh-oh, now I'm going to get in trouble.
I recently changed parties for personal reasons. I haven't seen change in my community. And, I felt there was a little bit too much of those little cliques in the party in my community. That's my personal opinion, the way I feel. Now, I've never voted across the board. Why? One, I have to believe what you stand for. Second of all, I have to believe you because some people, they're running and they say whatever they think the community wants to hear. And when it comes down to it, remember, I can promise you 100,000 things, but is it actually going to become reality? That's a whole different story. So I never voted across the board. How about you?
I have voted across the board because of the candidates that are on that I like.
Okay.
Has there been a time or two I've kind of held my nose and voted for someone across the board only because the person who was running against them, in my opinion, was worse? So it was the lesser of two evils. But there has been times that I have crossed over and voted for someone who is not part of my party line. It's been a while since I've done that, but in the past, when I was younger, there were people that I felt used to, in the other party, represent my values. And then the person who was running on my party line, I did not feel represented my values.
Okay.
So I have.
Okay.
I have.
So we all know the importance of voting. How do people get educated on the different parties? And, especially who's running? How do we get information about the people running?
Well, that information you're going to get on social media. You're going to go on the different parties and see who their people are. And you're going to go on the websites of the people who are running. Again, you really need to do the research. And what's going to happen is, especially if you are unaffiliated, meaning that you're not a Republican, you're not a Democrat, or you're not a conservative here in New York, you're going to get a lot of trash mail, is what I call it. And it's going to be slandering. Look at it. Don't take it with a grain of salt. Every party does it. They trash the other person. Make sure that it's really real what they're saying and they're not exaggerating it. I
think regardless of what you get in the mail, you have to do your own research.
Right.
I mean, because I remember 2 years ago, I thought it was hysterical, but I felt bad for the person running. Just like pictures, they take you off, like you just wake up, your eyes one side, and it's crazy how they get. Now,
it's sad that we do that stuff.
How do you feel about you losing friendships when, especially with that whole Trump election was going on? If you were going for Trump, you lost a friend and this and that, and so
it's sad. It's horrible because
I think you can't have your own opinion. It's
gotten to the point where you can only have your opinion if you agree with the other side, and that's both sides. I have to tell you, that's both sides sometimes. My family is a victim of that cancel culture, and I was canceled as a mother. I have a child that in 2016, because I worked on that campaign for Trump, has not talked to my husband and I since 2016, will not talk to any of our family members or friends that worked on or supported Trump. So it's really, it's just insane that they do that. And friendships that have not talked to me because of it. Some of them have come back around because they're like, you know what, this is ridiculous. We love each other. We just don't agree on policy. My mother is a Democrat. I'm a Republican. We live in the same house. We don't agree about the same candidates. And we'll sit there and we'll argue. And when we go to vote afterwards, we laugh and we go, you know what? We just canceled out each other's vote. Both of us could have just stayed home. But it's that healthy conversation. It's, again, going back to that healthy conversation and agreeing to disagree. Alexandra, what happened in this country? We can't agree to disagree anymore.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's very sad that you can express how you feel about a certain topic, whether it's politics or anything else to that matter.
It's the cancel culture. Why is it that we have cancel culture just because you don't agree with someone on what they say. You know what? Then they have these campaigns. That's why Alexandra was afraid to talk about parties, because we're afraid that there's going to be someone come out there and cancel us.
No. I'm not afraid about talking about parties. I just don't think this is the platform for me to say, I'm this one or you're this one. It's not about that, because we want to welcome whatever party you're with or you support. You're welcome. This is a platform open to everyone. That's my now, if you come to my house and you want to have this conversation, we could have a conversation. But that's behind, that's a different scenario, right?
You know what? I think we have to get beyond that. And everyone has to start talking about it and being open and accepting each other. We just had a show last time about inclusion with Down syndrome. Why can't we include each other? I have friends that are Democrats. They come to my house. They eat dinner. They're my friends. I love them. I have family members that are Democrats. I love them. I don't care what they vote once they go into that booth. That's their thing that they want to do. And we have to start respecting each other. This country, we no longer have respect for each other. Everyone wants to cancel each other. Oh, I don't like that you said this. I don't like you. Okay, say that to the person and then move on.
Yeah. You should have the right to your own opinion.
I get a little bit hot about
this. But we're going to take a little break and we're going to come back with our guests. Please stay tuned.
Detonando en todas las zonas. Latino Mixx. La verdadera patrona. Dale play a tu bocina.
Welcome back, to our show, Real Talk Long Island on Latino Mixx. You can see us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as at Real Talk Long Island. Alexandra, we have an amazing guest today.
Yes, we do.
She is she has a PhD. She's a pastor. She is a mother, a grandmother. She's just everything. She's all over the place. Do you know her?
I think I do.
I think I do too. Her name is Dr. Teresa Bryant. She is an amazing woman. Dr. Teresa, can you say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Jamie, for inviting me here today. I am super excited about what you guys are doing as well and what's happening with me in my life at this time.
Dr. Bryant, Alexandra and I have some questions for you. One of the questions I have for you is, as a woman, as a minority, as a mother, how does it feel to run for office? What does it feel like to you?
Wow, I think I can answer that question because I think I'm all three. As a minority, running for office, first of all, let me backtrack for a second. I am actually a blank. I'm represented by, I'm being endorsed by the Republican Party. I was always Republican from a young age. I decided to come blank, not because of Trump. It had nothing to do with that. But just when that party became, available, I just said, I feel like I represent everyone. But the Republicans party represents the values that I represent. And that was my reason for selecting that party at a young age. And because of things I'm involved in, at one point I became a blank because of bipartisanship. Okay.
Again, here we go. That cancel culture. If you have one party you want to be registered to, you're afraid that people, for bipartisanship, you have to be undecided.
And I was gonna bring about that point, being a minority. Because as the third vice president of the NAACP and being involved with the NAACP, of course, we all know that the majorities are not Republican, right? So, and as a pastor, it's taboo to talk about politics. So things that were surrounding my life governed my decision at that point, to become independent and then subsequently a blank. As a minority, it's not easy to be political. And I consider myself a public servant, and I'm a servant leader. That's how I like to describe myself, because I am really interested in the voice of the people. So before, again, I was approached, I'm going to say that I didn't go and seek out to be a politician. I was approached several times.
You mean other people saw how wonderful you are, like we do?
Oh, thank you. And I knew it was time. It was time because I looked at the community and I saw the decline of our community. And I knew that I had to do something to change. So as a minority, yes, it was not easy when I was approached to say yes and then to pursue, being a political figure. It was not easy. I was frowned upon. I remember one of the chairmen, I won't say their name, right? One of the chairmen said something very profound to me, and it stood with me throughout my political run. They said, the people that you think will, won't, and the people that you think won't, will.
Absolutely.
And I found that to be so true. So as a mother, I am blessed to have full support of my family. So they made this political run so easy. I really appreciate that. I mean, other than the fact that they were in my head, like, really? You gotta go out again, But went out again, and did what they needed to do. So they definitely did their share. I have a very supportive family. Thank God for that. And as a grandmother, even my grands were so willing to help. They tried, can I go to the meeting with you? Can I do this? Can I do that?
I remember that. They were so cute. Yes.
So, I mean, I love that. But being a political force or a public figure is not easy, and you have to stand on the values that you believe in. And that's what I'm going to do. I believe in the values that the Republican Party has. They are reflective of the values that I've always had.
Quick question for you. Did you ever have an epiphany where you felt that God was telling you that you should be running for office? Or did you pray about it and say, you know what, I feel like I should do this. Let me have God give his condone what I want to do.
It's so funny you ask that, because my family knows I always say, they think I gave them a yes. I gave God a yes.
That is cute. That is so cute.
I do know, as a pastor, I do know that this is my destiny. It doesn't matter if I try to deviate from it or, run from it. It's just like Jonah. I don't want to bring about the Bible, but just like Jonah tried to run from Nineveh, only to be swallowed by a big whale and be spewed right back up. You have to do what God tells you to do. And that's what I believe as a pastor, or else I wouldn't be a pastor. I would not be a leader. And I've seen the positive outcomes of listening and being obedient to what God says do.
Awesome. I have a question for you. What are some of the key issues that you're passionate about and that you look forward to addressing if elected, as you're running for Senate, right? For senator.
Yes, for senator, New York State Senate. Okay. Yes. When I'm elected?
Yeah, that's right, girl. You set me straight. That's right. That's right.
Speak that into existence.
When I am senator,
God blesses you to be Senator Dr. Brian.
Right. Well, I mean, it's funny because I even changed in my phone Senator and other ones. So I'm going to change in my phone Senator Brian. I'm not calling you Dr. Brian anymore. But there are quite a few things that I do look to address. Mainly being the voice of the people, family, like you said, faith, family, freedom. The safety of the people is very important. Now, when I look at safety, we may think physical safety. I have my PhD in psychology. I'm thinking about not just physical safety, but being safe in your mind, mental safety, emotionally healthy. These things are very, very important to me. And so we have to look at the dynamics that surround us that keep people unhealthy and try to change that. I think that COVID was very, very interesting because it highlighted how many people were unhealthy. It really did.
Right.
It really did. It highlighted how people were unhealthy. And not until COVID did people really understand mental health. Mental health. I started mental health in 1981. I was 18 years old. I worked at Pilgrim Psychiatric Center. By 29, I was a new nurse, and I became the building supervisor at 29 years old.
Wow.
So I've been in mental health care for a long time. I've seen people institutionalized, people with outpatient drug addictions, so many different levels. And then in ministry, the same thing.
Right.
And I cater to those people and see their lives change. So some of the key points are health, mental health. Another key point is, again, keeping our community safe. My husband's been in law enforcement, retired from the sheriff's office after 30 years.
Let's support those LEOs.
Yeah, I have a lot of family members that have been in the military, that have been police officers, have been sheriffs, have been worked for even special services. The CIA and marshals and bounty hunters. So I come from a family of people that believe in law and order. Mm-hmm. I believe in law and order. I believe that's a very important aspect of my political run. And I'm a business owner. So that's another important aspect.
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. My father never worked for anyone. He had his own trucking corporation in 76. So I've watched, the importance of business owners, because I said 76, earlier than that, in the 60s. In 76, the reason I said 76, because I watched his business decline in 76. And literally watched my father have to sell off trucks to pay the mortgage, So small businesses are important to me. And I believe that being the voice of this community, outreach, again, is very important. I do outreach all the time. That's part of our church. That's part of our ministry. I was actually doing outreach before I was doing ministry. And that's feeding, the hungry, visiting the sick, giving toys to children before everybody started doing toys for tots and everything and backpacks. I've been doing this for 40 years. Without a title.
We have a thing about the backpacks too. It's like during back to school time, there's 60 backpacks for each kid,
right?
But no supplies.
What are you filling with? Right. Well, mine are filled with supplies.
So, in what ways do you hope to inspire women, especially women of color, to really pursue leadership, especially like in politics?
Mm-hmm. Well, in politics or out of politics, or both?
Both.
I think both. I think both is important. Empowering women is important, period.
Agreed.
Period. Because
Totally
of the
agree.
inequalities with women. Mm-hmm. And to that point, when I became part of the NAACP, I actually launched the women in the NAACP.
Awesome.
And have won awards, because I'm very much about empowering women. I hold conferences for women, teaching them to be entrepreneurs, business owners.
I've never been invited to any of those conferences. Have you?
Well, you will be.
Just saying.
I was blessed because you were one of our keynote speakers one year for Flutterflies.
Yes, I remember.
So
I remember.
you did a
Absolutely.
wonderful job. But we need to talk offline,
Right.
because there's a lot of stuff coming up with Flutterflies, and I think
Yep.
regardless that you're going to be our new senator,
Yes.
let's throw it
I
out there,
am.
right?
I am.
And of course we support anyone else running, and the key is to run, right?
Run.
Yes.
Get out
If you're
there
going to
and
make
run.
a difference, run.
So I don't care what party line you run. Be a woman and get out there and run and know
Absolutely.
why
That's
you
right.
want to run.
Absolutely.
But do it for good reasons. That's
Right.
my little pet
That's it.
peeve. Some people
Yes.
do it just
That's it.
just for fame and stuff. No, I feel you're doing it for great reasons, and you have our support.
She's going to
you.
roll up
Thank
those
you.
sleeves once she
You have
gets
support.
there up in Albany.
Oh,
and
yes.
she's going to represent all of us.
Yeah.
I'm
so
known for that.
tell
Change.
us, if somebody wants to help you, follow up with you, have a conversation, how do they do that?
Yes, they can go to Bryant for New York NYS Senate at gmail.com. That's Bryant for, write it out, FOR, NYS State, is it State Senate?
It's and
You can find me on
NYS.
Facebook, Instagram, and it's
right.
all there.
Listen,
Bryant for Senator.
Definitely follow up on social media. You can
Yes,
find her.
you can
So
find me.
Teresa is under Teresa, right? Teresa.
I think it's, yes.
Teresa Bryant.
Dr.
You'll
Teresa
find-
Bryant on
There you
Facebook, and Bryant for Senate on Facebook as well.
Beautiful.
May God bless you.
Thank you so much.
In your endeavors of running for office. I just think it's great. I love to see a woman running for office. I love to see a woman who's convicted in her faith, with her family, and to protect freedom and keep us all safe.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations
Thank you.
and
Thank you
continue
for
the
having me.
amazing work. And we thank our viewers for tuning in. A great show once again.
Again, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you follow us at Real Talk Long Island on Facebook, Instagram. Go on our Latino Mixx app so you can hear us. There's lots of great shows from before, so not just these shows. Some of them were a little longer. We find the 30-minute shows work out a little bit better. You don't get tired of us.
But thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Take care.